closing arguments in the case of a man accused of killing two teenagers in a crash.
Conflicts over the condition of the state budget, how House lawmakers are hashing out their disagreements.
Plus, keeping up with 3 rocket launches from the interior, we have the video.
It's a wintry look to April as snow is still a big factor. I'll have a look at the weather for you.
You're watching Alaska's news source.
Well, for the second day in a row, a jury hasn't been able to reach a verdict in a case where prosecutors say a teen drove off a cliff that caused the death of 2 teenagers in Unalaska in 2019.
Now, our investigative reporter Johnson Kuhn updates us from the Nesbitt Courthouse today.
We've been told no verdict will be reached today while the jury continues to consider whether 24-year-old Dustin Ruckman was criminally negligent when he lost control of his truck in May of 2019 while driving up Unalaska's Mount Ballyhoo. Prosecutors say the vehicle toppled over the cliffside at Unalaska Head, falling approximately 900 feet.
Where's the vehicle then?
Ruckman said he was thrown from the truck, but the 2 teens, 16-year-old Carly McDonald and 17-year-old Kiara Renteria Haste, remained inside. State Prosecutor Patrick McKay says while the case is tragic, Ruckman was still ultimately responsible for the girl's death because he was aware it was a difficult drive. But defense attorney Julia Mowdy argued Ruckman was only civilly responsible, not criminally.
Criminal negligence is when the fault is so great, the error is so great, the disregard in advance, not in hindsight, but in advance of what the person is doing, is such a gross deviation of the standard of care that every other person would take, that it's deserving of criminal liability.
If you're driving in that area and you have to take a hard left to avoid going over a 900-foot cliff, that is a substantial and unjustifiable risk for yourself and for anybody in that vehicle with you.
The jury is expected to continue deliberations Wednesday morning at 8:30, and we'll bring you updates as we receive them. Johnson Kuhn, Alaska's news source.
Well, tonight, Alaskans are watching to see what happens to the prices of things in just a few hours, and that's when President Trump's vowed to impose at least a 104% tariff on China.
And that'll be 8 p.m. here in Alaska, and this comes after Beijing missed the White House deadline to take back their retaliatory tariffs. China says it firmly opposes the tariffs and will respond accordingly. Dozens of other countries are also set to see new tariffs imposed at midnight, and those range from 11% to 50%. The White House said that the president is negotiating with Japan and South Korea. Now, that led to another down day on Wall Street as Alaska oil prices dropped $2.40 per barrel down to just over $65. The most recent state revenue forecast bases this budget on $74.48 per barrel and $68 for the 2026 budget year.
House lawmakers say they still expect to send that 2026 budget to the Senate next week, and that is despite major disagreements over a full statutory PFD and a massive deficit. The current version, which passed out of the House Finance Committee, has a $3,900 PFD, but a $1.9 billion deficit. Lawmakers say they want to address that before sending it to the Senate.
Now, some House minority and majority members today spoke about those challenges.
We know that we're working with a budget that is way out of balance, and we're working to try to get that put back together. So we know, being in the majority, I've been in that position. It's hard to do what they're doing right now, and we're here to help. We're here to make that happen, and we're also here to be responsible, to do the solid work for Alaskans, and there's going to be some hard choices ahead, and we're going to have to we're here to make that happen.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're all in a pickle. It's not just the House majority, it's the House minority, it's the governor, it's the Senate majority, it's the Senate minority. We all own the situation in front of us. We are doing our best in the House to put forward a budget that is balanced, that meets all those essential services, that provides a meaningful BSA, that accounts for the fact that our schools are under-resourced, and it's very difficult.
The budget will be taken up by the full House at some point. Lawmakers maintain they want to get the bill to the Senate as early as next week.
All right, well, here's a live look at the Mount Spur volcano. Now, it is a little cloudy. We got some cloudy weather blocking the view, but it's there. The U.S. Geological Survey says there has been occasional shallow volcanic earthquakes, but nothing significant. But they are staying ready, keeping an eye on any changes or conditions near the site. And if you missed our special presentation of Volcano Watch, you can find it on our website, YouTube channel, and free streaming channels. We talk about the history of eruptions from Mount Spur, the science behind the latest advisory, and sensible ideas on how you can prepare now for this likely eruption.
And April is still showing its winter side.
The winter side. Meteorologist Jackie Purcell joins us now with the forecast.
Yeah, it's spreading that side all around the south central region. And let's take a look at some of that snowfall that we accumulated yesterday here in the Anchorage area. It did amount to a record 4.8 inches. The previous record for the date, April 7th, was 4.3 from 2012. That brings us up to 53.1 for our season, but we're still considered a low snow winter. Here's a look at the Eagle River area. They had seen some snow. Looks like it's tapered off. 33 degrees is the current temperature, and a high temperature also at 33, when normally we'd be around 42 and nowhere near that 54-degree temperature from 2019. But we're up to 5 inches of snow. Winter weather advisories affecting the Homer area, Kachemak Bay, and 2 points north. That's going until tomorrow, Wednesday, 1 p.m. for 5 to as much as 10 inches of snow accumulation across the region. That snow is still falling across parts of the Kenai Peninsula, Anchorage, a rain snow mix into the parts of the valley, as well as Prince William Sound. Fairly clear skies have returned into the interior, and their highest temperature reaching 26 degrees. Their normal is 40, and they'll be seeing some warmer temperatures as they head into the weekend. They're currently at 26 with winds out of the south-southwest at 8 miles per hour. So snowfall lingers in the forecast across South Central through Wednesday, also into Thursday, but it should start to taper off as we head into Friday as the low pressure system pulls away from the region. Here's a look at the forecast of rain snow mix anticipated tomorrow as high temperatures go to the upper 30s to 40 degrees here locally. I'll have more in the forecast coming up later.
All right, Jackie, thank you very much. And with all this snow making our spring, it is spring, a little less green. It's really helpful to have that weather forecast at your fingertip, and it's easy. Just download the Alaska's Weather Source app from your favorite app store. You'll find the forecast for your area of the state, as well as live satellite and radar maps. Plus, when you travel, you just turn your location to Follow Me, and you'll still get your weather updates, even when you're out of state. Download it right now.
Well, floating in a tub of icy cold water is not how most of us would like to spend the day. But that's what one man is doing to test a new survival suit. Lauren Maxwell explains.
Clint Homestead is the man you see behind me. He got into the tub, set up in the parking lot behind Humpy's at 9 this morning, and he hasn't left since. Clint Homestead is spending his day in an unusual position.
Both my arms are inside the suit. I'm hugging my torso.
Floating in a tub of icy water.
A little bit of a moist sauna.
Chilled to a balmy 32 degrees. Homestead works for Learn to Return, a survival training company that's testing and distributing a new type of cold weather immersion suit it says can save lives.
This can take survival in cold water, we hope, from hours to days. Really, and this is what the state needs.
The manufacturer says the suit has an unusual design.
I don't know if the camera can see, but you have access to the zipper to open from within.
Homestead showed us how he can wriggle his arms out of the sleeves to access an inner compartment where he can use his hands to eat, drink, and even send videos from his cell phone inside.
Right now, I have quite a bit of space in here. I took my hood, closed it off to contain some heat, and I'll be doing some isometric exercises if and when I get a little cooler. But other than that, I am in a cozy floating raft.
Now, as you can see, Homestead is still here. He says he is starting to get a little bit chilly. He's going to push on and try to be in here for another 2 hours. Lauren Maxwell, Alaska's news source.
Well, improving navigation and communication by studying the aurora. In the last week of March, the University of Alaska Fairbanks worked with NASA to launch 3 rockets aimed at measuring interaction between the northern lights and the atmosphere. Now, this data is now being analyzed to determine how predictable atmospheric changes can be, which depends on how aurora is stirring up elements in the ionosphere. Any modeling that can come from this information could help with radar and even spacecraft navigation, according to the mission's principal investigator.
They need to make a decision as to whether an avoidance maneuver is required or not. And you would prefer not to expend propellant and fuel performing an avoidance maneuver that really isn't necessary. So if you can improve the ability to forecast exactly how close that approach distance will be, that lets you better determine when to use your precious resource of propellant.
Well, the project involved the work of dozens of people, including students at the university. Conde says that he expects the results to take several months to analyze.
Still ahead, a missing dog was spotted in the Juneau area after she was rescued from wildfires in California. New images just into the newsroom.
Plus, it's Alcohol Awareness Month. We detail a program in the interior aimed at keeping soldiers safe from bad habits and substance abuse.
You're watching Alaska's news source.
So we have an update, a new update on a dog that's been missing and on the loose for around 2 months in Juneau. Animal Control says that Jackie was spotted again this morning. These are pictures sent to us today. Now, Jackie was also seen several times over the weekend. She was brought to Alaska from the Los Angeles area during the devastating wildfires back in January. She was able to escape from her new owners here in Alaska. Yesterday, we brought you the fascinating story of an Alaskan historian who is trying to change the names of 2 locations in southwest Alaska. One of them is called Nazi Creek. If you missed it, check out our free streaming apps and click on news on the lower banner to find that story and others.
Thanks for listening. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcast from Alaska's news source automatically. And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.